just asking about the family
She
and...
was about to tell us about her super awesome gift!
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher.
Scholars, welcome back to Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher. I'm a professional artist and a master educator. Today, I'm here with Hank and Etta, and we're here to talk to you a little bit about something that you actually requested.
You remember that?
That's right. On a recent poll, you asked that we talk a little bit about the Hall of Bulls that is in the Lascaux Cave. And we're going to go down into that cave and take a look at the beginnings of this great work of art that is from our prehistoric ancestors. So, without further ado, let's jump on into that. When we think about the Paleolithic times and the art that would come out of that, I think most of us instinctively begin to think about cave paintings. Many scholars feel that the cave was thought to be kind of a gateway between the living world and the spirit world of the people of the prehistoric time, almost like the Nile River of ancient Egypt. At any rate, there are stories of a magical meaning behind these paintings on the cave walls. Only shaman or religious leaders were able to create these sort of paintings on these walls. Now, it is believed and understood that the ancient individual thought that any sort of creation of images was a powerful tool only to be trusted with the most powerful individuals. What is understood by scholars is that women were, in all probability, viewed as the most powerful people in society because they were the ones that had the ability to recreate life. So it was the females that likely had the power to have this powerful role to create the paintings in these caves. Based on the findings of the world's leading researcher and prehistoric cave artist expert Lewis Williams, a lot of the early dotted patterns that we find in these caves throughout Europe and Africa are identical. But why is that? Basically, as the shaman would enter the caves, their eyes had to refocus to the darkness. And I can tell you, as an individual that spent a lot of time in a dark room, it does take a minute for your eyes to adjust, and it's also a fact that you start to see spots and dots and flashes of light where there are none. And these individuals would likely have seen spots that blink to create patterns. This sensory deprivation of images was then painted on the wall so all could see the vision of this religious leader. Now, beyond those dotted patterns, the drawings of women and animals, the most important creatures to their civilization, were then created. The women were created for the respect of their power, and it would be an understatement to say that the animals were an extremely valuable resource. Spears and arrows were shot at the drawings to gain a magical power before going on a major hunt. Whether we're talking about magic or just gaining confidence, the hunters were providing more than just food. They were gaining clothing, they were gaining tools, they were gaining the ability to survive. And when we look at these paintings on the wall, there are quite a few of animals on top of animals and things like that. And so why are there so many drawings if they only really needed one for the ritual? Well, we don't know for sure, but the idea is that can a hunter hunt a deer more than once? Well, no. One animal is depicted in that drawing so that they could have power for that single hunt, and each hunt required new imagery.
Unbelievable. Huh? I don't know. I mean, where the hell is she? What could possibly be taking this long?
Now, of all the caves in the world, probably the most famous is the Lascaux Cave. This is a deep limestone cave in France that contains images of abstracted bulls, horses, mammoths, lions, and more. Most of the animals are created in contour, meaning that we see a basic outline of the animal.
He said it was our destiny.
On Thursday, September the 12th, 1940, 4 boys discovered this cave. Archaeologists have searched this location for insights to its potential gain of clues to our human ancestry. Over an 11-year span, starting in 1952, Andre Glory took on the awesome responsibility and job of recording many of the 900 engravings from several of the cave's chambers and oversaw its excavation of the collected objects that were within the cave itself. Now, unfortunately, Mr. Glory died somewhat suddenly, and his work was quickly halted. Now, based on Glory's data, a team of archaeologists was assembled to study the cave in even more detail.
You may have thought it was a game, but it was also a test.
The paint itself was made from the earth, animal byproducts such as fat, bone, blood, and so forth, as well as charcoal, water, tree saps, minerals, things like that. Red and yellow ochre paint was the most common at that time. The paint would have been applied with a handmade brush or possibly even blown from a reed or hollow bone. The cave itself contains 7 unique areas. It's got the chamber of felines, the nave, the apose, the shaft, passageway, axial gallery, and of course the Hall of Bulls. Now, the Hall of Bulls is large enough to hold about 50 people in there. And within this area, archaeologists have found hundreds of tools made of stone and other things. Now, we're talking about the Stone Age. So the stones largely are still there, but anything that was made out of plant or animal fiber would have been long gone, which is why it's known as the Stone Age. On the walls and ceiling of this Hall of Bulls, we see these enormous depictions of course, bulls. The Hall of Bulls is named for the 4 black bulls that really run across this area, although these are among 36 different animals depicted here. Now, the entire cave system contains nearly 2,000 different animal figures. Within the room, we see engraved and overlapping forms, probably from unique years where they were practicing their rituals and other things down in this cave. It is likely that multiple generations of contributing artists and individuals make this Hall of Bulls what it is now. These are some of the earliest examples of artistic expression by our early ancestors. The people of the Paleolithic time period, or Old Stone Age, took care and pride in creating these works. This was their religion, this was their survival, this had many meanings to them as people, and it is believed that they felt that these actions had repercussions on their society.
We've all felt what you're feeling, and we've come to terms with it.
After World War II, the cave was modified and enlarged to accommodate 1,200 tourists a day that would come through the cave. In 1955, they began to notice that the paintings were decomposing. These paintings were there for thousands of years, so what caused this? Was it a foreign substance? Was it pollution? Well, sort of both. It was discovered that an excess of carbon dioxide was found in the cave. Naturally, it was the visitors themselves that were exhaling this gas, causing the ancient cave paintings to have a greater exposure. Under some conditions, like those found in a cave, carbon dioxide will actually attach to water vapor, creating carbonic acid. The carbon dioxide levels were monitored, but for a few years into this observation, green algae and mosses were also detected in the cave. The administrators of the site had no choice but to close the cave on April the 20th, 1963. As hoped, the art in the Lascaux Cave returned to its more normal state and condition where it was upon discovery. The climate modified itself, and the cave conditions were set as they had been for thousands of years prior to humans walking around in there. Currently, there is a computerized system that constantly monitors the cave's temperature, humidity, and carbon dioxide gas pressures.
It's a major remodel, you know. This is a disaster.
When we think that some of these works are around 17,000 years old, it's absolutely mind-boggling that something that old can still exist and can still teach us something about our ancestry.
All right, we love bringing you that story.
Thanks for watching, and
subscribing our videos.
and for subscribing to our videos and watching our channel. And we will watch it. We'll talk to you next time, won't we?
Bye.
Bye bye.
I know you watch our channel every day and I like it.
That's right. Like it.
Bye.
Spare me.